What's up, everybody? It's Joe La Puma. You are listening. You are watching the Complex Sneakers Podcast. As always, to my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
It's a big day. It's going to be a fun episode.
And, of course, to my left, wore a hoodie. He switched up the fit. he switched up the fit.
Fried me.
Mr. Brendan Dunne, how are you?
I will make no apologies for my outfit from the last episode.
And you shouldn't. And you shouldn't.
They
How are we
can't tell
feeling
me
today,
anything.
guys?
I'm hungry.
You are hungry. You actually asked for pretzels right before
I
we were
believe there
shooting.
may be some pretzels flying into me.
Are you going to
hope
eat
so.
them during the shoot?
No, come on. But maybe, you know.
Might sneak,
yeah,
like the Russell Westbrook meme.
They can edit it out. I trust our editors.
Absolutely.
I trust our editors with that.
How we doing, you guys? Let's see. You guys, twins again. Once again, I missed the memo.
Okay.
You guys are wearing some exclusive footwear. Talk about it.
Welty, do you want to explain to the people what we're wearing?
Mike Packer, owner of Packer Shoes, sent over these Adidas Adidas Ultra Boost.
You better get that right because the Adidas people will be on your ass. If anybody has to get the Adidas thing right, it's you.
It's Adidas Ultra Boost 1.0 DNA inspired by the original Adidas ZX Thousands shoes.
You have them on. I have them on. I think that's all we need to say. This episode is not sponsored by Mike Packer or Packer Shoes, although we do appreciate the free footwear.
Absolutely, and it was pretty funny. We went downstairs like an hour ago or hour and a half ago, and it was these two guys with a bunch of boxes and the Packer Shoes collab straight to the office and straight to feet.
We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
What else is going on, guys? How are you feeling?
I feel good. I had a big weekend. I rented out a theater for the new Mortal Kombat movie. First theater experience.
Well, you rented it out?
Plus.
You
Yeah,
rented it out.
It turns out it's not that expensive. We rented out an AMC on the Upper West Side, and it was only $300, and you can put 20 people in there, so it's a safe number of people.
How many people did you brought the whole 20?
Yeah. Everybody was vaccinated, just in case I have to make that PSA. But are you either you interested in seeing the new Mortal Kombat movie? I don't want to throw too many spoilers out there.
I was never really, I think we've talked about this, I was never really good at video games. Mortal Kombat fits into that category. You had like a month of like, let's see if I could get good at this, and then I wasn't.
You never mastered any fatalities, babalities, animalities.
That's the thing, like the buttons, I would never read the fatality cheat codes online. I would just mash buttons and it never worked out. But I would say
there was definitely a degree of difficulty to Mortal Kombat. Like you could play someone else who was a beginner, but if you like didn't know any of the actual moves and tried to fight someone who knew all that, Brendan Dunne, it's like there's no chance you're going to win.
Were you good? Were you in?
I've said it before. I'm a Street Fighter guy over a Mortal Kombat guy, but I still respect and revere the franchise.
How was the movie though?
You know what? The movie was whatever, but the experience was incredible. Nobody was even checking our bags, so the candy game was ridiculous.
You brought candy in?
I brought a lot of candy, man.
So I went to the Nets game Friday night, and I actually took Donnie Kwok, Complex GM. What was the concession stands like at the movie?
I think it was pretty fully operating. I think you could get an icy. We got some popcorn, but like I said, I brought in some stuff from the outside world.
You weren't eating beans?
Beans? What?
It's a meme.
Oh.
Okay. The movie though, I feel like just in terms of fan service, it could have used a couple more fatalities. I could have appreciated a Noob Saibot appearance, Smoke, Cyrax, something like that. But still, I was going crazy in the theater. You know, like, have you ever had that, a theater all to yourself?
Yes, I did.
Did you have your feet up on the seat in front of you?
Yeah, and just yelling out whatever, whenever you want. It reminded me of first time I saw Snakes on a Plane in 2006 at PAX, and it was, a similar experience.
One of Ronnie's recent birthdays, he rented out a theater.
What did you see?
This is bad.
Did you fall asleep?
No, I didn't fall asleep. But I didn't fall asleep. I forget what movie it was, which is bad. But also, I think I told you guys. I told our sneakers soul collector guys that when I was little, because it's tough for me to sit still.
Yeah.
Every time I went to the movies, 10 minutes into a movie, my parents or my uncle, whoever would bring me, pass out 10 minutes in. So
I want to talk a little bit more about movies. Did we watch the Oscars at all? Did you guys check into the Academy ones?
Oscars. I watched the Rowdy Piper documentary on A&E.
Oh, wrestling. Okay, Go ahead. Talk about wrestling.
No.
Go ahead.
Just a good series. They have 8 episodes. Stone Cold was the first week.
I'm trying to talk about the Academy.
Rowdy Piper.
Important cultural institution.
No, go ahead. I pivot to you.
No, please.
No, it's just a good series. Macho Man is the 3rd week, which is coming up.
Nomadland won big. Welty, you didn't see it?
I don't even know what that is, man.
Nomadland.
It's a movie.
Yeah, I know. You just said it really fast. I didn't know.
Come on, I sit through the UFC stuff. You guys can.
That's true.
Big
UFC.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. See, now you light up. You don't care about.
Did you watch that
Go
card?
ahead.
We didn't even talk about it.
Thug Rose.
Here we go.
What a card. Saturday night, the UFC, and the Usman, Masvidal, Thug Rose. What a card, start to finish.
That was
really good.
That was one of the Rose Namajunas' head kick to Weili Zhang was one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen.
And Nate Diaz coming up, Izzy coming up, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier coming up. So, listen, UFC is really.
When are we gonna get some more UFC fighters on sneaker shopping, Joe?
Any
big targets?
Yeah, of course, Izzy, Conor, and I always wanted to do Nate Diaz, but timing has been off.
He's got a brother, right?
Yes, Nick.
Okay.
Who Nick was there, and they're setting up fights for Nick. But look at you. On the low, you're studying a little bit?
Did a little bit of research.
Okay. You watched it?
You know what? Actually, the most I ever see UFC is because I follow Ariel Helwani, a guest on the Complex Sneakers podcast.
Yes.
And so I see the stuff he puts into my timeline. But other than that, as you both know, I am totally ignorant, totally unaware.
Totally a pacifist.
Following Ariel.
Except Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter.
Yeah, right? Following Ariel will keep you in the loop a lot. So.
Yeah. Shout out to him. I appreciate that.
What else do you want to talk about? Kobe Bryant? A little bit?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did miss the Kobe thing last week because we had filmed that episode a little bit early. But, of course, everybody saw that Complex broke the news last week that Kobe Bryant's Nike deal is done. Man, I don't want to speculate too much because I feel like anytime some big sneaker news happens like this, you get a bunch of people online just sharing opinions and not facts or anything like that. So, I mean, we published the facts that we could about it. I would think that a Nike deal is still quite possible.
Definitely.
But
possible, I would think.
What looks likely right now, I don't really know.
Totally. I think, to your point, I think that a Nike deal is still possible. It was a big scoop that you broke. And a lot of information when these things happen, there's a ton of information to sift through and kind of just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely see more Kobe Nike sneakers.
Okay. There's a couple more at least that are still going to be able to release. Joe, I want to run through my weekend a little bit more with you because I did share some details Sunday night. We had F&F pizza, not we. I mean, the royal we. But I did a pilgrimage out to Carroll Gardens for some pizza. I've realized that I need more things in my life to look forward to because being quarantined, there is so little. And especially on a daily basis, I don't have a meal to look forward to because the food I make for myself at home is consistently so terrible. So my new life hack, as it were, is to try and eat more food outside of my house in a safe way. So I went there, F&F Pizza, got 4 slices for dinner, and then had a milkshake afterward.
Good. Treat yourself.
I feel not that guilty about it.
Treat yourself. Someone brought up, we were talking about milkshakes, someone brought up the Fribble, which is a suburban classic.
I saw that. Okay.
A suburban
Do you know what that is, Welty? I saw that.
But I don't know exactly.
Somebody in our group said the Fribble. Oh, Friendlies. We talked about Friendlies before, right?
Yes, Michael DiStefano.
The watermelon roll or something? Is that what it was?
Watermelon roll is another summer staple. If you know the watermelon roll from Friendlies, it's a summer staple. It's it's basically sherbet, essentially.
And are you a Friendlies guy? Growing up where you grew up? Between Jersey and New Hampshire?
I think we spoke about it is that Friendly's food was good, but it would always take 4 hours to get a grilled cheese.
The chicken licking platter was the best. $3.49 when you were young. You got 3 chicken strips, fries, soda, and
were you worried
sundae.
about the price when you're young? Joe's when I was 6 years old, I tried to get the best value on the menu.
I just remember you had $5 to
spend
spend at Friendly's when you were young. It was right in town, and when you were 14 or 15, you went to the Friendly's and got chicken licking platter.
But I want to know about the Fribble. What is that? That sounds like a Muppet show.
It's a milkshake, vanilla, strawberry. I think was really, really good.
That was the quick strike flavor.
Yeah, exactly. But it was very close to a milkshake with a Friendly's twist on it. Really good. Friendly's Fribble, classic. If you're ever in Long Island, you ever come to my town?
Invite us out.
The Friendly's closed down in my town.
Oh, no.
But there's one, two towns.
It closed down during COVID, or?
No, a while ago.
I would love to be introduced to the fine cuisine of Friendly's on your,
We had to do a Bayshore food tour.
Is that a totally separate thing, or is it part of the Complex Sneakers podcast? Are you anticipating?
No, us 3. We have a lot of... We're talking a lot about food. This isn't a food podcast, but there's a lot of places. We still have to go to Utopia Bagels. Queen still has to...
I want to take you to Kiki's for some spaghetti. I had an incredible spaghetti there a couple days ago.
We got to do it. As the stuff opens up, as the...
Welty doesn't look that excited about it.
Yeah, are you all right? What? What, kebabs? We'll hit kebabs.
I went to Philadelphia over the weekend.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, out of the norm. Didn't get to eat anything.
No ishkabibbles?
No, not.
Why?
No. The other person that I went with was a vegetarian, so it wasn't the.
Wow! All of a
meat,
sudden, you're respecting vegetarians. That's news to me. But go
meat,
ahead.
the meat wasn't on the menu that much.
Was that a Joe Biden thing? Because he shut down the red meat.
No.
I saw that yesterday.
But went to Lapstone and Hammer.
Oh, nice.
Shout out all of those guys.
Were they all there?
My friend Alex, who works there, was there, but I didn't get to see Rack or Brian.
Okay. Happy belated to Brian. He might have been celebrating his birthday. Also, happy belated to Sean Evans. I had dinner with him last night.
Good.
The funniest random bit about it was that so on the way there and on the way back, the trains were delayed as they always are, right? So you have to to go from Jersey to Philly, you have to take the NJ Transit and then hop on the SEPTA train, which goes into Philadelphia from Trenton. And they set it up so that the trains connect. You get off one and get on the other. And the train was delayed by 5 minutes, so I missed the connection. And they're like, the next one isn't for 2 hours.
Oh no!
So on the way back, same thing. The train was.
So you had to sit there for 2 hours waiting
No, I
for
ended
your
up
train?
taking an Uber into the city and had to pay for that. But on the way back, I didn't get home till 3 o'clock in the morning, which was the worst thing ever. But the funniest bit about it was so I'm sitting for hours in the Trenton train depot, and there's 50 people with road bikes who had rode their bikes from New York to Philly.
You know who might have?
It was DMX.
No, bicycles.
Bicycles.
Okay.
I was gonna say
because
Saturday
who's a
night
big on the way to dinner, it was
the procession.
60,
Flatbush. Yeah.
And
No, they're bicycles.
Okay.
But here was what I was gonna say. I'm surprised Mike Packer wasn't among them because Mike Packer is the bicycle king of New Jersey. So I'm disappointed in him.
Was
but sorry,
he there?
go
Is
ahead.
that
No. This
Okay.
is funny. So I'm like, oh wow, because they were talking to everyone about it, and I'm just listening, and they all had logos of their little team or whatever on. So I look it up on Instagram, right? And one of the people that was in the bunch of the bike riders was Smush Parker.
Okay.
I don't know if
Speaking of Kobe Bryant,
yeah, it was just hilarious that obviously I didn't talk to him or whatever, but it's just funny that you're waiting in a train depot with Smush Parker.
Smush Parker. There's some classic Nike talk stories about Smush Parker.
Yes,
Real heads know.
Saturday night, I thought maybe you were talking about the DMX procession.
No. That was crazy though with the monster truck.
Yeah, and it was right near the Barclays, close to where I live, and it looked like a great, a great event. And then I went out to dinner later that night, and it was hours later, and I took video, 60 in a row.
Yeah.
And I think there was a guy on IG Live, and I rolled down my window, and I was like, "Is this for DMX?" And they were like, "Yeah." And it was just the city, it was really, really, really good.
Good moment.
Turnout. Yeah.
What's your favorite DMX song all time?
One More Road to Cross.
I don't know. I mean, the singles are the ones that were the biggest for me.
Slippin'.
I don't know off the
Slippin'?
top of my head. Slippin's high up there.
I have a hard time trusting anyone who says "Party Up in Here" is their favorite DMX song.
I didn't say that for the record.
No, I know.
DMX.
I'm
didn't
just
say
saying.
that.
I'm just throwing it.
DMX album cuts before track meets in high school really
Yeah.
could get
Yeah?
the blood flowing.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah, was
You worked out. I saw you put a little inspiration
Oh.
on his IG story today.
Yeah.
Did you see a
I did.
DMX quote?
did.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely a big "How's It Going Down" fan.
mhm.
Get at me, dog.
Do you want to do a
Damien.
bark? Do you want to do a growl?
No, I'm sure that you have all the ad libs on deck.
Rest in peace, DMX.
Rest in peace, DMX. The funniest little tidbit that I saw on Twitter with people reliving things was our friend Premium Pete sent out a tweet remembering DMX, and he said the first time that Who We Be came on the radio, he almost drove his car off the BQE.
Wow.
And it just tried to picture that.
Shout out to Pete.
Premium Pete in the Datsun just listening to DMX.
Whipping extremely hard.
Last week on the show, we said we were going to give away sneakers every week thanks to eBay. Last week, we gave away the Sakai's, a shoe that I've been wearing for the past few years. To my right, Mr. Matt Welty is going to give away shoes this week to a lucky listener, lucky fan.
So this week, we are going to give away. Is this a sneaker or is this not a sneaker?
House
The
shoe?
debate
No, it's not a
rages
house shoe
on.
because people are wearing it out.
We're giving away the Yeezy Foam Runner. This is the initial launch colorway, named after a mountain that is a national symbol of Armenia, which Kanye kind of dedicated to Kim in some regards. These were given to us by the good folks at eBay.
Yes.
Authenticity guarantee. These are 1,000,000,000% legit. Also really hard to find because this shoe dropped on the relaunch of the Yeezy Supply website.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. So
okay.
These were, I know they had released subsequent colorways of this shoe, but this one is kind of tough to snag a pair. So we're going to give away these sneakers to one lucky winner.
Our winner this week is JC. They submitted a question. So basically how we're giving these away every single week, we're going to ask on social media people to submit questions for us to answer here on the podcast. And whoever we pick to read their question on the air and answer their question, they will be getting a free pair of sneakers that week, courtesy of eBay and the Authenticity Guarantee Program. It is JC. JC has asked us the question, what sneaker from 2021 so far do you think will hold up the best and still be sought after and not forgotten 5 years from now?
There's a couple.
It's a little early. I don't love picking this kind of sneaker of the year type things in, what are we, in April right now? But JC has the question. We've picked it. We're going to give him some shoes, but we have to answer the question. Does anybody have any early thoughts?
Let's talk about it. I'm a Meunier 3, definitely.
I think that's up there. I mean, it's an Air Jordan 3, so the shoe's going to be good no matter what.
No, not no matter what.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I'm not saying that, but it's a model that it's not like sometimes you pick models that, aren't as, they might kind of fall off a few years later. People might get sick of them, but an Air Jordan 3 is a shoe that is going to retain its value or interest.
Unless Fragment did it.
Over the time, and obviously James Whitner and team did a great job on those sneakers, so I don't see that one going away.
I think as far as being remembered, trophy rooms will be remembered. That was 2021,
they will be remembered. They will be remembered one way or another.
Vapor waffles for you? Vapor waffles for you, Joe?
The vapor waffles?
No. Come on.
Not in the other, in terms of the hysteria that.
Yeah. I'm going to say I'm a Meunier 3 as well. I think that I don't want to sound too much of a homer when I mention it, because obviously James is a friend to all of us and a friend of the program, but I think it's such a clean shoe too, where it's not this wild colorway or something that looks so much like from a certain era that years later doesn't feel quite right. It kind of looks timeless. That's a really positive word to attach to this shoe right now. And again, I don't want to be too extra about it, but to me, the Alma Meunier 3 is the one that sticks out. So
Supreme Dunks?
No, not to me. Was that this year?
Yes.
What a weird year.
There are a lot of things that.
See, that's the thing. I've already forgotten it, so I got to disqualify that right there.
Fair enough. Our guest on today's podcast has been ingrained in sneaker culture for almost 4 decades. It was all the way back in the 80s where he started collecting and trading sneakers. He would continue to figure the inner workings of Berlin sneaker culture out, and eventually in 2001, he opened his first sneaker store. The store stocked cult classics and semi-obscure silhouettes that were highly curated for those in the know. A year later, he widened his scope and began selling more recognizable labels, some of which at the time were super rare in Germany. This birthed the globally recognized Solebox store. Throughout the years, Solebox carried high-energy releases, and he would go on to spearhead impressive collaborations with everyone from Adidas, New Balance, Asics, Lacoste, Diadora, Puma, and more. After 13 years leading the store to a household name in the sneaker space, he left Solebox to focus on other ventures, the main one being his own sneaker brand, Sonra. We're here today to talk his long history, his new bubbling brand, and of course that viral sneaker moment you probably saw last summer. Please welcome to the Complex Sneakers podcast, Hikmet Sugoer. Welcome, Hikmet.
Hello, I guess I'm more known as a stupid guy eating ice cream out of a shoe.
There it is. There it is.
Wasting no time.
They're going to know after this episode your history. So thank you so much for joining us.
I'm glad that you invited me and clearing things up. So I'm not only this guy, I'm more than this.
Hikmet, you've done a few things in this industry, but we want to take it back to the beginning. I want to know about you being a kid on the outskirts of Berlin in the 80s and how you were getting sneakers. I know you were linking up with people at the Air Force Base and American people. What was that equation like for you back then?
So Berlin was divided back then, and we had the U.S. guys or the U.S. military in Berlin. And I was always connected to the people. So we went to the basketball court, chatted, had made friendships, and they got me the shoes, by the way. So they got to the PX and bought shoes for us because all the shoes at the PX weren't available on the German market back then.
Sorry, what is the
In
PX?
Germany,
What is that?
PX is a post exchange. I think it's called this shopping
On the military base.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, on the military base. And this was our connection to all the stuff. So it started with, stupid to say, but sweets like Bubblicious and all the crazy US stuff, which we don't have, watermelon, chewing gums, and shoes, of course. So my Jordans, Adidas Superstars, I got them over the PX.
So it was Jordans, Adidas Superstars, kind of popular silhouettes that you couldn't get in Germany that you were getting from the US, and you began to accumulate them.
And this time it started to the song Video Killed the Radio Star.
Yep.
This was exactly this time. We were listening to radio, we had records, but we never saw the people live in action. So, and when MTV started in Germany, it was pretty cool to see all these heroes for us, Public Enemy, Run DMC, of course, and Beastie Boys, EPMD, all this old school flavor. And for a kid like me, it was amazing to see all this footwear, what they were wearing. And so I needed to get them. But in Germany, as I said, there were only white sport shoes, white basketball shoes, white tennis shoes, white, shoes.
Did things change when the wall came down? I know you were 16. How much did that change the sneaker scene in Germany or in Berlin specifically?
For Berlin, it was not a big change because I was living on the west side or the western part of Berlin. We had access and we had the possibilities to travel. It changed more for the people who were on the east side of Berlin because they had now the freedom to travel around and get access to all this Western product. They only had, as I know, they don't have access to no brand, except if you were part of the government. So you had then access to the Western.
So wait, the people in the government had the Jordans, but the regular people couldn't get the Jordans. Is that what you're telling me?
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, on the eastern side, yes. I think it's like everything in government. I guess they have some privilege which we normal guys don't have, and this was back then the same.
And weren't you a lot of the shoes that you were getting, you were kind of like trading and reselling very early on?
This trading, sorry for always touching my ears. It's not a fetish or something like this. It's more my AirPods are not holding very well. I started pretty early with buying stuff. So the first times of eBay, some people maybe recognize the payment methods back then. It was BitPay, the first one, which was available for the international market. It was not PayPal. Before PayPal, it was BitPay. So if I sold something over eBay as a platform, I got a check from BitPay at my home place. So I went to the bank and got my money for it. After a while, it was pretty annoying to get this check thing. So I started to trade. I got connected with people in Japan. Japan was really big back then with sneakers. It was a really huge market. And the funny thing in Germany, nobody was interested in all this stuff. So I went to Foot Locker, bought the Shima Dunks and Shima Air Maxes. Nobody was caring about this. And the funny thing is, back then there were some Euro exclusive colorways. Nowadays you don't get regional exclusive colorways, but back then it was pretty easy. I gone to the store, nobody was buying the stuff. I bought it on sale, shipped it to Asia, and got a lot of money. And the same with maybe you remember the first Bathing Ape Superstar series, Super 8 Stars and the Super 8 Skate. And again, same. Nobody was interested in the stuff.
It was just sitting on the shelves.
Nobody was knowing Babe. It was something what the people had on the radar. So I bought the stuff. I got to the store. I was back then a student, and the the problem is, or the problem for me was to get money somehow. So I went to my dad day and said, Dad, I need money. And he was really afraid that I'm doing some crazy business with drugs, or I don't know, or I have problems. If you go to your dad and say, hey, Dad, I need 10K, I want to buy some shoes, and I want to sell them on eBay, and I'm getting paid by PayPal. So just explain to a 60-year-old guy back then what PayPal is, or what it means to get your money on a digital way and everything. So I bought the stuff. I went there again and again because nobody was buying. The lady from the store bought the whole stock of Germany to the store because she was knowing that I'm buying anything or everything. And,
you bought the stock, the stock for Germany?
Yeah, I shouldn't say it too loud, but it's I think it's nearly 20 years ago.
And that was for the Bape ones, the Bape Adidas Club?
Yeah, the Bape ones. No, yeah, I think I bought about 80 or 100 pairs of these.
Wow.
And yeah, it's funny because last time you had Croatian style. So I was the German Croatian style somehow.
Okay.
The German style, I guess.
Yeah. So then you bought 80 pairs of those. Did you sell them all, or you kept them for the first iteration of the store that you opened up before Solebox?
Yeah, I traded some of them. So some of them are sold to Japanese people, which paid me. So in Germany, I think they were around 165 euros for the Superstars. And in Japan, they paid 500, 600, 700 euros for these. And some
700
of them,
euros back then? That's a lot, Hikmet.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially if you're a student, just imagine.
Yes.
And again, if you just imagine you're a student going to your dad, borrowing money for sneakers. Nowadays, if you go to your dad and say, I want to buy sneakers, he will even say, hey, I buy it on my own. I don't need you for buying sneakers. But back then, it was something really new. So I bought them, sold them, and certain stock I used for trading. It was a pretty good trade material. So I traded versus the Supreme Dunk Highs and the Star ones. So a lot, and it was a, one-to-one deal.
Yeah.
So for the US guy, it was pretty cool because he said, okay, I can't get the Babes in the US. For me, it was great to get the Supreme ones, and it was a pretty good deal.
Wow. Good trade.
I got some Espo Air Force 2s, Supreme Dunks, and all this stuff, which was really hyped back then. And I sold them in Germany. And it was an approach for the German market. I got Supreme stuff from the store, trading against shoes and everything. The gold, how you call it? The gold digging times. I don't know the English word for this. The gold rush times. Of sneaker culture.
So how did you go from there to deciding you wanted to open your own store in the form of Solebox and actually have a relationship with retailers? Because that's a totally different thing, being a reseller and buying out shoes and kind of doing this parallel stock stuff to then having actual accounts with brands. Like, how did you do that? To make this clear, so back then reselling doesn't mean you buy something and hurt somebody else's feeling. So if I compared with today, if I bought something where nobody was interested in, I think this is a okay thing to do. Nowadays, it's more, you buy something because everybody else wants it. Right.
And you use or get money for something where other people, the demand is too high for something like this. So I only wanted to get this straight before I get the next shit from like the Ben Jerry Dunks. And what was the question? Sorry.
So I just want to know how you turned that operation into you having your own store.
Yeah. So I bought all this, I gathered some stuff, so I built up a certain stock. And with this stock, I opened my own store. I never opened the store to make money, actually. So back then, I was already into collecting shoes. I always kept, of course, shoes which I bought for trading or reselling. I always had some pairs for myself, one or two or triple. So then I opened the store with a lot of really hyped stuff. So on the international market, it was pretty hyped. In the German market, it was pretty new. I opened the store with without any official account. So I was more, I call it the flight club of Germany back then.
Okay.
So I didn't have the retail prices. I had, of course, market prices in this store. And the people came in. It was the time where we had in Berlin Bread and Butter, a really huge fashion fair.
Yeah.
And lots of international people came in, especially Italian people, which spent a lot of money for they wanted to have something special, and they were not looking on the prices. People from France, people from the UK. The German market was still in the development. The people were greedy, and all the international people came in, and it spread. So all the brands came in. So of course, if you do some buzz in the city where one of the biggest European fashion shows is, all the brands came in. So Adidas came in, Nike came in, and Nike actually pressured me a little bit, and they said, Hikmet, you have two options. One option is you do what you do, but maybe you get, how you call it, a letter from our lawyers.
They were going to sue you?
Yeah, because I was interfering. So the official wording was, you're interfering with our European market or selection of products for the market. And I was, of course, then saying, okay, what is the other option? And the other option was, Hikmet, we can work together. And I said, okay, let's take option 2. And again, for all the people who are now seeing me touching my ears, it's not a fetish. So I started to work with the companies. The good thing is on Nike, it's with a girl. If you go with a boy, it depends on what you like. If you go on your high school with the hottest girl, then all the other girls are interested too in you. And it was with Nike. So I got Nike in, and all the other brands got interested in my project too. And so they all followed.
But didn't you have some sort of like beef with Nike later on? Like I heard you had a like a sign on your office in your store that said like no Nikes allowed. You go on to say that, we'll talk about it in a bit, but you ended up doing, when we mentioned all the collaborations you had done, New Balance, Asics, Puma, Diadora, it's not with Nike, and you had done a lot of the bigger collaborations in Europe. So you had said that you had collaborated with all these other brands because you wanted to show Nike that you can make the other brands bigger or take away a bit of Nike's market share. Like, what was your problem with Nike? Why did you want to do that to them?
Okay, it's passed already, so I can talk about it. And I guess I was one of the only stores worldwide back then who showed the middle finger to a big brand. Yes, you need balls, or you have to be stupid to be true. I don't know if you need to cut out something like this in the US. In Germany, we can talk as we like.
Please.
Okay. I done a gentleman agreement back then, and we had an agreement that I'm selling mostly my shoes or my products are Nike products, which I'm selling in the store. It was a gentleman agreement. They support me and I support them. I'm old school. I like gentleman agreements. I'm not a big fan of big contracts. Mm-hmm. So if I give my hand or give my word, then I'm staying to this, even if it's negative for myself. But I don't breach my set. And they actually then done this gentleman agreement with another store. So some of you maybe know this. It's Nord. Nord back then opened a store. So from Stash, they opened, I would say, 200 meters or 300 meters away from my store, a store. And one day I came to the store. I opened the door. In front of my store, there was a big ad for Nord store with Nike together. I called them and said, hey, guys, so I don't think that this is a part of a gentleman agreement if you do this agreement with somebody else too, especially if it's 200 meters far away from you. And they said, you don't have to buy our brands.
Wow.
And this was pretty difficult because if 90% of your business is based on one brand, then you're fucked up, to be true. And so I said to myself, okay, I am keeping quiet. It's like, the one with option 2 story. So it's again, I said, okay, you're right. It's all good. Do your ads in front of my store for other people. I'm happy. And so I done my homework, to be true, because I got pressured. I know if you're dependent on one brand, it can be good. It's
right.
If you're married to your wife or to your boyfriend or however, then it's a commitment. For me, as I said, if I do an agreement, a gentleman agreement, I'm committed to this agreement. They weren't. And so I needed to do my homework. And then again, I don't know what the reason for this was, but there was again this point where somebody said to me from the company, hey, you don't have to buy our brand. And this time I said, okay, I don't buy your brand. And this was really something what they don't expected.
Yeah, nobody had ever done that before, right?
Yeah, usually, sorry to say this, usually people are sucking. I really allowed to say this?
Say what you want.
No, okay. I don't say it. I'm the customer. It's like if somebody's coming into my store, and if I'm an asshole, I would never ever buy at this store again,
right.
Because if the salesperson is an asshole, or if the people are too, I don't know, thinking they're the coolest guys, I would never buy there. And it's the same with the brand. If I spent it back then 100 or 200K. It's not a lot, but still a lot of money for a small business like mine was. So I said, okay, I don't buy it. So then I needed to do this, what Matt said. I needed to
you had to hurt Nike.
See what I do now. This was my, how you call it, Turkish temperament. Usually we are more saying something and then starting to think what we've done then. And so I built up. Actually, I started to build up other brands and for the German market.
And it's interesting, too, because you outlasted Nort. Like, Nort in Berlin was not there for that long, right? But Solebox went on to be kind of an institution in the scene.
Yeah, I outlasted, to be true, a lot of stores.
Yeah.
Many came and many gone. And always, if a new one was on the scene, the brands gone to the new one. I don't know, maybe I'm too complicated, maybe I'm eating too much ice cream, I don't know. So
that all comes back to the ice cream.
So I needed to do my homework. I started to work with, brands like New Balance. New Balance was in Germany more a Nazi brand. So the people were really stupid. It's like, they saw an N and they thought N stands for Nazi. This shows how brilliant these people are. I started to work with New Balance. I started to work with Asics, all really unpopular brands on the market. But I was knowing on the international market, especially, for example, New Balance was pretty popular in the UK, was pretty popular in Asia, in Japan. And I was thinking, okay, why not to think global and act local, and so I started to build up other brands. I done projects which were pretty successful.
In your New Balance collaborations, though, I don't want to gloss over them because early on, New Balance is having a lot of moments with the collaborations right now, which everyone knows. But I think that Solebox with the 1500s, what you had done, Purple Devil, toothpaste.
Yes. Mm-hmm, the 575s.
Yeah, the green pair, the finals that you had done, which were, all shoes from like 2015, 2016, 2017. Yeah.
There it is.
The Nazarai.
I'm prepared.
Yeah. But these are shoes that had a massive cult following on them. The pairs are reselling for upwards of over $1,000 at the time. And if you can even find someone to let go of the shoes at this point, I feel like the majority of people who have those shoes won't resell them because they know they'll never get another pair. But like, how big was those early New Balance collaborations, and how important do you think they were to New Balance as a brand?
So thank you for saying this. I don't know if New Balance is seeing it similar, but I think it was really important for anyway, everybody who was part back then, Nord, Union, Supreme, I don't know, 24 kilometers, Sneakers and Stuff, Hand and Shop, all these stores which done all these projects with these brands are part of their success today. I know big brands are starting now to doing B2C, so business to consumer,
right.
dealing direct with the end consumer, but they shouldn't forget who built their reputation in the market. You know,
do you feel like they are forgetting a little bit?
Yeah, of course. It's it's an easy going if you do as a business. It's pretty easy to say all this stuff now because I don't own any store anymore, so nobody can fuck me now. So it's pretty easy for me now. I think this is unloyal, this is unrespectful, this is really not a fair way of business if you forget where you're coming from. And I think many brands forgot where or who are they have to be thankful. So, and I'm not talking only about these niche stores. I saw there was a contract ending of a store which was in a family business over, 100 years or something like this. Especially in the US, there are lots of really old family
small mom and pop shops,
which are now getting kicked out of the business relation. Some new guy is coming from the university and saying we have to do it like this and that. I think it's not fair. And again, maybe it's chauvinistic what I'm saying, but just imagine you go in a club. You're going to go in a club on your own and saying, I'm the hottest guy on earth. I think everybody would laugh about you. But
me or you?
Just imagine. But just imagine you go in the club and I'm going with 2 or 3 other people, and they say this is the hottest guy on earth. I think this is much, much more important to have somebody else's say about, like Matt said, my history, or you guys are saying my history. This is much more important than if I'm saying it on my own. I can say everything, but and it's the same with the brand. The brands are using their synergy, which was built up, Nike, for example, since 72, New Balance since 100 years. So New Balance was pretty sympathetic always because they never used any co-branding on shoes, which is, their biggest claim was endorsed by no one. They never needed Jaden Smith or I don't know whom to be popular. And it was more the product which was standing for itself.
How do you feel about it?
Sorry, I'm talking too much. Sorry,
no. How do you feel about some of those high energy collaborations now? I know we talked about your history, but how do you feel when those come out and it's such a moment for New Balance, almost like decades later? Do you like to see that New Balance is having this big moment with collaborations and collaborators?
Yeah, so I'm really happy for New Balance because it's a really good brand. I love their attitude. I met Jim Davis, the owner of the brand, or the family Davis.
Guy.
And it's so I'm not patriotic. I'm not a US guy, as you know. I love that they do regional manufacturing. I love it that they produce in the US. I love it that they produce in the UK. I love that they produce in Asia. So they have a good balanced product portfolio, and it was overdue that they get the success what they now have.
I'm interested too in kind of like what you did for New Balance in Germany, because you mentioned it briefly, but there was this association with Nazis or was it people thought that, or was it those groups in Germany? I guess neo-Nazi is the better term, but they liked the shoe. Is that what it was, or people just assumed that it was connected?
No, they it was really like this. It was mostly in stores. It's stupid somehow. Like a how you call it, the MA1 jacket, or like a Lonsdale T-shirt. These guys are picking up something from different cultures. Especially skinhead wasn't always fascist or neo-Nazi. Skinhead was from the ska era. So from music-wise, it's more the opposite. But in Germany, it was really stupid people were seeing an N and bought it as a Nazi shoe. And lots of people bought it. And so the normal people were afraid to buy something like this because they were saying, okay, if I buy it, somebody else on the street would identify me as a neo-Nazi.
I see.
So they don't... I done even the PR for the German market back then. So the Turkish guy was doing PR for a Jewish-owned company. And I think the people realized pretty fast then it's nonsense as a Nazi or neo-Nazi to wear these kind of shoes.
Right.
Hikmet, we talked about Solebox a little bit, but talk us through some of the big releases when Solebox was really kind of at its height. And do you remember like hyped releases that stand out to you? Also, there was I don't know if this released at Solebox, but the Pharrell Dunk, the NERD Dunk that you post a lot and you got them to sign. Was that, you guys didn't release that, did you?
No, this one was for the US market. It was an artist series where I don't need to tell you guys what it is. Sorry. NERD was in the store. They done the record release in Germany, and they done it in the store because we were the only retailer of Billionaires Boys Club. And so Pharrell was coming in the store. The funny thing, when I showed him the shoes, he said he was not knowing these. That was the most funny part of it.
Pharrell didn't know that dunk?
Interesting.
No.
You have the album release party, NERD comes through, you show them this dunk, and it seemed foreign to them.
Yes, it was pretty funny. He was really saying to chat, do we ever saw this one? And he was really surprised. It seems he never saw it. Maybe he forgot it, or maybe he was really, or they were not involved in this project. So, funny.
But they signed it anyway.
They signed it anyway. The funny thing is, after they signed, I was saying to myself, I shouldn't have signed it.
Hikmet, I'm glad you mentioned BBC being there in the store because I have a distinct memory. I think maybe the only time I've ever been to Solebox, but the first time I went to Solebox for sure was in like January 2008, and I remember distinctly wanting so bad, and I didn't have the money at the time, but to spend 300 euros on a pink silk Hawaiian shirt from BBC with flamingos on it there at Solebox.
I would say a flamingo T-shirt would match your mustache.
I need to find that. If anybody has that shirt, please connect with me.
Hikmet, one of the other releases around that time that I think you got a little bit famous for on the internet was the Yeezy 2. You took a picture in the bathtub with all the black and pink pairs.
It seems I've done a lot of stupid things in the past. So, the funny thing is, or maybe it's not funny, actually I'm trying to be critical. So, I done this picture because I saw a lot of pictures at this time. It started that the people are showing their resale stuff when they opened their trunk. This was a time where everybody was showing off what they got. And I thought to myself, okay, guys, I can do better. Okay, challenge accepted. I put out the shoes, asked my wife if she can do a picture.
Your wife took the picture for you.
It looks like I'm naked with a Speedo on, but I wasn't naked. I had a towel on me, so it was all hygienic. But it was funny. So it's like Kim Kardashian broke the internet. I broke it too back then.
Okay. Your first viral moment.
Not the last.
We'll get to the other one soon.
He
but
tasted,
the first
he
one,
got a taste and he couldn't. He couldn't walk away from it.
But after that, Hikmet, you end up selling Solebox to Snipes, who's a German company, but a lot of people in America know Snipes now because Snipes has now launched in the U.S.
They're all over.
Yeah, but you were one of the first independent boutiques to sell to a corporate company. What was it like? Like, how much did they buy the business for? What was that process of them of selling your baby that you raised with your two brothers to a corporate brand?
Actually, it was more a personal decision. I wanted, now I can say it, I wanted to quit. And I was even with my brothers and saying, you know what, we closed the door, a little bit like Colette. I wanted to quit really because we had a tragedy in the family. My dad had a heart attack, and I started to realize, what I'm doing here. I'm investing my whole time for selling shoes to people who are buying it to resell the shoes instead of being close to my family and investing my time with my family. So maybe if you believe in God or if you believe on karma, whatever you believe, somebody saw my situation. I was caring about my family. At the same time, I became father again. And the owner of Snipes came in, and we had a chat. We were friends back then. And he came in, and I told him a little bit the story of the Pentland Group, that they have a JD for the people in the UK. They know it, but maybe for the US, JD Sports. And then they have Size, which is doing a little bit more
kind of
exclusive.
style,
and then on top, they bought Foot Patrol at the top. So this is strategically the best thing you can do, because no product you miss in this group, because everything from the top tier to the bottom
to the most
tier,
general release, you have it all.
And this was something what Snipes was lacking, because Snipes was bought by Deichmann. Deichmann is one of the biggest German shoe chains. I think Europe-wise they're on the number 4 or 5, I don't know. And they bought Snipes, and Snipes bought Solebox. So it was then a similar construct. So actually, I didn't get a huge amount. It was okay for me, because now I said it, even if they said we give you, I don't know, 50K, I would have sold it for 50K.
You just wanted to be over with it.
Yeah, I wanted to really finish this. I wanted to close to my family. I don't wanted to invest. My day started at 8 o'clock. I was going at 8 o'clock to the store. I left the store at 10 or 11 p.m. So, mostly this, I want to tell everybody out there, to have success is something what people don't show, what hard work it is. Nowadays, we live in an Instagram world where everybody is showing, like on this video, here it looks pretty good, but if you look on this side, it looks pretty bad.
He's got a bathtub full of sneakers on the other side.
But you end
under
up
my black t-shirt, I'm wearing Speedos.
yeah. You end up leaving Solebox in 2015, but you end up writing a letter to Solebox about Snipes, and you said it made it seem like everything was pretty bad at the time, and you said, lately we have been making our effort to try and remedy things, but we have not gotten results. The good memories I have are with you, and it saddens me to think that they will just be part of the past. I can hardly tell you this, but ours can't continue. And this is the most powerful part of the thing. You said, Solebox, you are a great concept, and I like you, but the magic is over. Solebox without the soul, I mean soul, is only a box, like many other boxes.
Good one.
Poetic.
I should be some poetic.
Did you leave, or did they kick you out, or what happened?
Some people may know the story of Steve Jobs when he got investors in. When he had to leave his own company, I would say it's a similar situation, or it was a similar situation. We had different views of my company. So what I never understood, this I can tell you, what I never understood is why you buy a concept and try to change it.
Right.
It makes, in my eyes, it makes no sense, because the most important point was to buy a niche concept. And I was actually a pretty good source for them to test the market. If you have this big structure, just imagine Solebox is doing our own footwear brand, or even trying products together with the big brands, like say Adidas is doing the Ultra Boost, and then they do a different version of this, and make takedowns for Snipes. After Snipes sold them a lot, they do takedowns for Deichmann. This was my point of view of Solebox, but they never understood it, to be true.
And it seems like there were some issues around the exit. You brought up the Ultra Boost. Wasn't there an issue between
it was it was my last project. So I done it, and actually this time I have chosen the lawyer way. So I didn't set this time.
Did you sue Adidas?
No, not Adidas. My lawyer was good, but not so good maybe. No, we needed to discuss this actually behind the scenes with lawyers. If it's okay to release something which was done by me or it was not part of my job or
right.
How you want to say.
So you designed the shoe while you were still at Solebox, and then you had left Solebox after the Snipes purchase, and they were still going to sell them, and you were like, wait a minute, this is my project. Is this even legal?
Yeah. And at the end, so I got paid for this, and so they released it. So never ever, the funny thing is my mom back then said, Hikmet, don't stress yourself. But I'm really old school. If you think, everybody out there, if you think that you're right, and your nearest people, like your friends, your wife, your mom, is saying, yeah, you're right, then you need to fight for your right. You never should say they are big. There's no bigger than, sorry, now I'm getting religious, there's no bigger than God. So that's it. Nobody on this earth shouldn't be able to fault you for something what your right is. And so I fight. I don't have a problem to fight.
So you leave Solebox. It seems like you're at peace with the decision for a number of reasons, but you can't stay away from sneakers because you start your own footwear brand eventually, Sonra.
Yeah.
Talk about that, and how long were the wheels turning on that?
Yeah. By the way, the name Sonra is the company. Yeah, right.
Yeah, Steve Jobs
left his Apple. He made his new company called Next, and Sonra is a Turkish word for next. And so I called my brand Sonra.
Great name.
Actually, it was somehow stupid to do own footwear brand because at this time, so 5 years ago, I would say it wasn't so popular, the sneaker market. It was, Travis was not wearing SB Dunks, and the market was not full of Jordans and everything. And I was the first time in my life unemployed. And in Germany, you have places where you go if you're unemployed. I don't know if it's in the US the same. So you go to a place where they say what you can do. And they offered me to do a hotel guy. Guys, you ever looked at my CV? I can do it, of course, but this makes no sense. So I offered them to be, again, self-employed and do my next business. I asked my wife, she said, okay, do it. And so I gone all in. I spent all the money I got from the Snipes deal after paying my house. So I opened my own footwear brand, which is somehow back then it was pretty unnecessary, I guess, for many people. Where even on social media, people said he should have left. He should have stayed at Solebox instead, doing his own footwear brand. Again, a message to all the people out there: you should really think twice before you write something in the internet. Bullying and. I'm a grown-up person. I'm nearly 50 years old, and I can handle it. But some people can't handle shitstorms, and some people can't go over, personal attacks. And this shouldn't be nonsense. There's a good Tyson quote: "Never ever, say something what you wouldn't say in real life to somebody else. Otherwise, I would knock the fuck out of you." And
you throwing hands?
This is something. Sorry?
Are we throwing hands at Solebox? Are we boxing? Is the box in Solebox actually about boxing?
The reason for the name Solebox, by the way, the first store was made of boxes, cardboard boxes. And on the cardboard boxes were the shoes, the soles on the boxes. That's the reason why the store was called Solebox.
All right, so you go from that to Steve Jobs. You go from that name to Steve Jobs. Okay.
And by the way, if Steve Jobs, so rest in peace, Mr. Jobs, what the guy's done? You know, they're selling out. I think he wouldn't be happy to
we
see
need
that
you.
somebody.
Johnny,
Tim
come
Cook.
on.
So if they ever need a test guy for the earphones, they can call me.
Okay.
Hikmet, you have a fanatic following around Solebox. I mean, it's not Solebox, around Sonra. You have like you have team all people who have every single release that have bought your shoes. They all hang out together and take photos, all wearing your product. But I think the most famous person besides DJ Clark Kent who wears your sneakers is Ellen.
Yeah, seems so. First of all, shout out to DJ Clark Kent.
Always.
One of the most great guys on this planet.
Yes.
So humble, down to earth, and really respectful guy. And one of the guys with the best taste, and not telling this because he's buying my shoes. And because, he's not only, usually most people, have the same taste nowadays. They okay, not you guys maybe, but mostly kids nowadays buy something what they see on somebody else. But back then, sorry, this is a little bit boomer talk now.
Go off,
back
boomer.
Then we tried to buy stuff what others don't have. And
Right.
I'm not talking about the highest priced pair of shoes. I'm talking about the rarest shoes, means vintage trainers, like old Adidas equipment series, or like vintage Nike runners, or even the old Jordans. If a Jordan 3 was from 88 or a Jordan 4 from 89, this we were looking for, or Adidas made in Germany. And the followership, what was the question again?
You had Ellen wear your sneakers.
Yeah, Ellen, yeah. It's a big compliment. I know she got a big shitstorm in the US. But actually, I'm pretty sure if I would be some famous person, maybe I would, to be true, if you look on yourself, everybody has his, how we call it, good sides and maybe not so good sides for other people. I don't know what the reason was, but if you're in the public, then I'm pretty sure people trying to find something to hurt you,
right,
because you're successful. So I don't know what happened there. So for me, she has a really good taste.
You're saying Ellen's a good person because she bought your sneakers. Is that the moral of the story here?
Wait, did she buy your sneakers?
Yeah, how'd she get them?
Yeah, no, she's not getting them for free, by the way. So I don't feed shoes. I'm a greedy guy. So and I tell you why, because nowadays everybody's getting seeded, and they show you today this brand, they show you next day this brand, and they are not loyal to the brand. And actually, I'm not getting so much seeded because the companies know. Sometimes I'm telling them I don't need them. I send them back.
You send a free shoe back to a brand?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
You pay for the postage and everything? I would never do that.
Well, they're missing out because they could go viral if they start seeding you. So.
Yeah, that's the reason maybe why I'm not getting so much seeded. But why I should be how you call it, feeling pressure to show them the product.
Yeah.
If I don't like it, I don't like it.
Of course.
If they send it to me and if they wait that I'm posting it, I would be even say it's shit. And therefore, dear companies, if I'm asking you to send me a pair, this would be amazing. But I never asked for a pair, by the way. But sending me something where you already know it's shit, you don't need to send it to me.
Yeah.
It's not getting better. So, yeah. And Ellen is having a really good taste. So if you're into watches, you have to look what she is wearing, what kind of watches she's wearing, what kind of taste she has for cars, what kind of taste she has for shoes. It's pretty good. She's wearing lately a lot of Whisper stuff. And so, but to say this, it's not Ellen directly buying from me. It's the how you call it?
Stylist.
Yeah, stylist.
She's a big watch collector for sure.
Yeah.
We're at the point of the podcast where we have to talk about last summer.
We have to discuss it.
We've been like flirting, talking about it. I mentioned it in the intro.
He pulls the shoes out every now and then.
Yeah, we've been talking about internet commenters, but
Your greatest achievement.
Yeah, we.
Actually, my biggest achievement for myself, was when Stephen Smith back then sent me an email, and nobody was knowing Stephen Smith back then.
Okay.
Everybody was knowing Tinker Hatfield, but nobody was knowing the godfather of dad shoes. He sent me an email one day and said, Hikmet, I like what you've done with the 1500s. And this was a big accomplishment for myself, because if somebody is writing you an email who was the initial designer of the shoe and saying, hey, he likes your colorways on the shoes, this was a big compliment for myself. And, that's the reason why I started with footwear. I'm still emotional with footwear. I love to see new stuff and everything. And even with my new brand, I still love all the other brands. I love.
So wait, did you send Stephen Smith a free pair then?
No, Stephen Smith has to buy the shoes.
Actually, I sent him a pair of the 912, which is based on my Porsche, because I know he's having a 356 Porsche,
big car guy,
on Emery. So that's the only connection. And he's a really a great guy, so I love it.
That's a great cosign.
But let's talk about what's important here.
We got to talk about ice cream.
We're not getting away from the time that you...
back to Ben and Jerry. So
50-year-old man, 40, I don't know how old you were at the time. You put ice cream in the shoe.
And it went massive, viral, super viral.
People were mad at him?
Yeah, people were mad. I think it made Jesus and Mero, but...
I would say 80% of the people were mad at me, but I think the average age of these people were around 16 to 20, I would say. And mostly the boomer generation understood what I've done. So they were really sending me even messages and mails and saying, hey, I love what you've done there. I posted this. I done the video with my daughter. She's 20, and she liked it. For her, it was funny. And we posted it, and then we gone to a family trip. After coming back, I opened the Instagram, and I saw, 100K views. Something happened there.
So
and,
I want to understand it, though, because was it for you a satire on the idea of people doing those types of photo shoots, where they're doing ridiculous things? Because to a lot of people on the surface, it just seemed like this is another one of those. And I was actually surprised, because this is the type of thing that Matt Welty, to me, would normally be very upset about.
But the different, and I don't, true. And I know, and I accept that criticism, but me and Hikmet have known each other, almost 10 years at this point. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that, if this person does it, it's okay. If that person does it, it's okay. I think a lot of people on the internet just do it because they actually think it's like they're hype chasing, or they're doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, someone who's worked in the footwear industry for that long and done all the shoes and is obviously making a joke about the whole situation and doing it with a smile, I was like, all right, I can appreciate that,
I totally accept the point where somebody is saying it's not okay to destroy a pair of shoes or something like this,
right.
But as Brendan said, at this time, many people done stupid things with shoes. And by the way, this is the shoe where I've eaten ice cream out of it.
It's a piece of history.
It definitely is.
It's still clean. Yeah, I have to put it on Sotheby's and say this was the first Ben & Jerry's shoe eaten ice and sell it for $2 million US dollars. I really done it because, the people are taking this too serious. These are shoes. These are made for wearing. These are, even the design. For me, the biggest compliment, if I'm going to New York and seeing somebody wearing my shoes, that is the biggest compliment I can have. Mm-hmm. For me, it's not a compliment to see these on StockX or eBay for high money. For me, it's better to see cool people wearing these. Sure, you can now argue if Alan is a cool person, but it's if let's say that everybody understands, if Travis, for example, would wear my shoes, this is a big compliment instead of hundreds of people buying my shoes to resell them.
But that's wearing them. That's different from eating ice cream out of them, right?
Yeah, and of course, this is art happening. I would call it arty approach.
Okay.
Art, and a different approach to how you call it, accelerate. So to get the attention is I can go like Jack Black and putting on Speedos and some other funny shit.
There must be a Speedo collab coming. You must have a Speedo collab working.
But you also,
Speedo a lot.
You also after that, I think what really made people mad was you ate ice cream out of the shoe, but then you put the shoes on and walked into your pool.
Was he wearing a Speedo?
Yeah.
No, he was wearing a pair of NT denim.
He didn't have the Speedo on? That was the Speedo moment.
Yeah, it was a Speedo moment, but the thing is, I know the internet, and the people are finding always points where they can attack somebody. I have hairy legs, so it was looking stupid to have this shoe with hairy legs. So
I love this. Hold on. The thing that looked stupid to you was the hairy legs, not the fact that you were eating ice cream out of a shoe. But
the funny thing, I even got shitstorm for my denim. I was wearing a denim, which has not a tight thing, like this yoga pants, what usually the sneaker guys are wearing. And the funny thing, all these people are now wearing denims like I'm wearing.
That's true. You were the trendsetter. The jeans are getting baggier.
To be true, I never changed my style. I'm still like 40 years ago. I'm always wearing a black T-shirt and sometimes a pink flamingo PVC
I need that
Hawaii shirt.
I need that shirt.
Well, Hikmet. Hold on 1 sec.
One last thing, real quick. I just want to bring it up because it's one of your more, final projects. We have this shoe right here. Can you see it? The New Balance 577 collaboration. Maybe it's high snobiety, but I think HS stands for Hikmet Sugoer. So I don't know what high snobiety is, but this colorway is based off of a New Balance 1500 that you tried to release with New Balance, and New Balance wouldn't put the sneaker out because is it a Solebox shoe? Is it a Hikmet shoe? Can we give Hikmet a shoe? How come New Balance wouldn't do a Hikmet sneaker after all you did for the brand?
Actually, I have to defend New Balance. So there were two brands which were pretty loyal to me after leaving Solebox. After I left Solebox, most of the brands even don't talk with me because they were afraid of getting trouble with the big money givers. And Puma done even a collab with my new brand, thanks to Yassin. And New Balance, it was a really respectful approach of them. Yes, of course, it was sad that they never brought out this project, but it was the only brand which said at the same time to Solebox, we don't bring this shoe out. It's something which is not clear between you two guys. If you're not aligned, then we don't do it. So for me, it was a really respectful approach. They done this project with me under different circumstances. So I'm really happy for New Balance that they are like they are. So this is for me, again, some old school and respectful and diplomatic behavior on this one.
Good shoe.
Awesome.
I'm talking a lot, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to show you so many shoes here. My Asics shoes, which are changing color under UV lights. Or the Reebok one. This one is
it smells.
smelling like orange.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Scratch and
Scratch and sniff, right?
Nice.
This dude has done so many shoes.
Rub the insole, it's smelling like orange. Or my Reebok Omnizone pump
It lights up.
It lights up and even has the bungee rope.
Never a Nike. Or
Yeah,
there was the
Air Force
2006 2006 pair when you moved from east to west. I know there was kind of a friends and family thing they let you design, but did you ever come closer than that to making a Nike shoe?
No.
No.
I don't know why, but maybe I've done too much with the others. Or maybe it's still the beef which they never will forget. I don't know. So, and the Adidas one, the Adidas Berlin, one of my favorite ones.
Classic shoe. Did you see that there was a guy in the UK recently who built a Adidas sneaker box in his backyard, but the label was from that shoe, and he like made it into like a pub.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. So this, these kind of stuff, this is the biggest compliment for me. And this one, again, it was never ever how you call it, cloud chasing for me. So I don't care about it. Really not.
This wasn't a cloud chase.
If you know me, this even hurts me somehow. People in Berlin stopped me. I was walking on the street. Somebody was driving with a car. He stopped. He came back and he said, "Are you the guy," in German, of course, "are you the guy eating ice cream off a shoe?"
Listen, you gotta start a TikTok now.
You got the clout you wanted.
You gotta start a TikTok and parlay this fame.
But to be true, what I've done there sums up the whole situation nowadays, in my eyes. Even this guy who's called Benjamin Kickster or something like that. Yeah. I know now it's getting beef. Even he said something about me where I'm saying, hey, what was your contribution to this sneaker culture? I don't know. Right. I hope he's not friends with you guys. I want to hurt his feelings.
All right, well, Hikmet, we know it's getting pretty late in Germany. We thank you so much for taking the time and running us through your history. Always fun to chop it up with you, and we'll definitely be on the lookout for whatever you have coming next. We know you can't stay away from footwear for that long, and congrats on the new brand that obviously is doing really well. So thanks so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for giving me the possibility to clear these things up.
Thank you,
Take
Hikmet.
care, man.
Thanks, Hikmet.
Legend.
And again, Apple, if you see this, I need other earphones. Have a nice evening, guys.
Beautiful. Thank
care.
you, man.
This is the Complex Sneakers Podcast. Please like and subscribe. We will see you guys next week. Take care.
Oh, yeah.